At 40,000 feet, silence is the loudest sound in the world. Lieutenant David Kane didn't feel like a pilot tonight. He felt like a passenger. The F-35 Lightning II was flying itself, making 3,000 calculations a second, adjusting the flaps, the fuel mixture, the intake geometry. Kane's hands hovered over the stick, touching nothing. The cockpit was a glass cathedral of green and amber light. He smelled the dry, recycled air of the life support system, the faint scent of ozone and warm plastic. Everything was perfect. Everything was routine. Until the vibration started. It wasn't on the instruments. The screens were all green. But Kane felt it. A tremor. A tiny, rhythmic shudder traveling up through the ejection seat, into his spine, like the aircraft was shivering.
Tower, this is Voodoo 1. Getting a little chop up here. Requesting flight level 350.
Negative, Voodoo. Radar is clean. No weather in your sector. Instruments show you stable.
The tower was wrong. The computer was wrong. Because 3 seconds later the shivering stopped, and the screaming began. It didn't happen like in the movies. There were no sparks, no explosion, just a sudden, terrifying heaviness. The stick, which usually moved with the grace of a thought, suddenly turned to concrete in Kane's hand. The voice warning system chimed in. Her voice was calm, almost polite.
Hydraulics left. Hydraulics right. Flight controls, critical.
Kane slammed the throttle forward. Nothing. He pulled back on the stick. The horizon line didn't move. The nose began to dip. Slowly at first, then faster. Gravity was taking its tax.
Mayday, Mayday. Voodoo 1 has total hydraulic failure. I have no stick. I repeat, dead stick.
He began the checklist. The muscle memory kicked in. Step 1. Isolate the leak. He flipped the cross-feed valve. Nothing. The pressure gauge for System B kept dropping. Step 2. Reset the flight control computer. The screens flickered, rebooted, and showed the same red error. Ghost input detected. 5 miles below the panic, on the far edge of the airfield, the world was quiet. Building 42 didn't look like a military asset. It looked like a graveyard. Corrugated metal sheets rattled in the desert wind. Tumbleweeds stacked up against the rusted hangar doors. Inside, the air smelled different. It didn't smell like ozone and computers. It smelled of grease, old oil, tobacco, and history. Chief Shaw wasn't looking at a screen. He was underneath the hood of a 1968 Ford Mustang, his knuckles white as he turned a wrench on a carburetor. He was 72 years old. His hands were stained permanently black from 50 years of aviation fluid. He worked in silence. He didn't need a radio to know something was wrong. He felt it in the ground. The reverberation of the base siren started up, a low wail that usually meant a drill. But Shaw stopped turning the wrench. He tilted his head. He wasn't listening to the siren. He was listening to the sky. Engine surging. That's not a drill. Kane was fighting a losing war. The F-35 was a $2 billion paperweight falling at terminal velocity. He had tried the APU. He had tried the manual override. He had even tried the emergency ram air turbine. The jet simply refused to fly.
Command, I'm punching out. I can't hold it. Ejection handle in 3, 2.
Negative, Voodoo. You are over a populated area. Do not eject. You guide that bird away from the suburbs or you ride it into the dirt. Do you copy?
Kane looked at the altimeter. 20,000 feet. He looked at the map. The lights of Las Vegas were glowing on the horizon. He couldn't eject. He couldn't steer. He was going to die. And then he saw something strange on the primary display. Amidst the sea of red warnings, a single, ancient code flashed in the corner of the screen. Error code, Ghost 85. Kane frowned. He had memorized the entire manual. He knew every error code from A to Z. He had never seen Ghost 85. Back on the ground, inside the command center, General Vance saw the code too. His face went pale. He dropped his headset. The room went silent. The young technicians were typing furiously, looking for a solution in the digital database. They found nothing. But Vance knew. He turned to his aide.
Get me a secure line to Hangar 42.
Sir, that hangar is condemned. There's nobody there but the old caretaker.
I know who's there. And if that code is flashing, he's the only man alive who knows why. Wake him up. Tell him the ghost is back.
To understand why a modern jet was falling out of the sky in 2025, you have to go back 40 years. To a time before touchscreens, before stealth coding, before the computer decided if you lived or died. 1985. The height of the Cold War. Chief Shaw wasn't Old Man Shaw back then. He was Sergeant Shaw, the best wrench turner in the Pacific Fleet. He was working on the F-4 Phantom, a beast of a plane. They called it the Brick. Proof that with enough thrust, even a brick could fly.
Hey, Lieutenant, come look at this valve.
It was a routine inspection, but Shaw had eyes like a hawk. He noticed a hairline fracture in the hydraulic mix plate. It wasn't wear and tear. It was a design flaw. The intake was vibrating at a specific frequency, 400 hertz. Every time the pilot hit Mach 1.2, the valve would resonate like a guitar string until it snapped. Shaw took it to the engineers.
Stick to changing tires, Sergeant. That schematic was approved by the Pentagon. The math is perfect.
The math was perfect. The reality was messy. Shaw knew that if he let that plane fly, the pilot, a kid named Vance, would be dead by noon. So Shaw made a choice. He went to the scrapyard. He found a high-tension washer from a tractor engine. It wasn't military spec. It wasn't authorized. But it was rubber. It absorbed vibration. He installed it in the dark, under the cover of noise. A 10-cent part to save a $10 million jet.
Fly it like you stole it, Vance. She'll hold.
The plane flew. It hit Mach 1.2. The valve held. Vance landed safely. But when the inspection crew found the tractor washer the next morning, the celebration ended. Unauthorized modification of a nuclear-capable asset. Court-martial offense. Shaw stood tall in front of the review board. He didn't apologize.
I didn't break the regulation, sir. I fixed the plane. The regulation was broken.
They stripped his stripes. They forced him into early retirement. They scrubbed the incident from the official record. But the computer remembered. Someone, somewhere, had logged that vibration frequency as a ghost failure, a glitch that shouldn't exist. And now, 40 years later, the F-35, a plane built by the children of those arrogant engineers, had inherited the exact same flaw.
Control to Hangar 42. Shaw, are you there? I said, are you there, Chief?
I'm here, General. I heard the alarm.
We have a situation. Voodoo 1 is showing a catastrophic hydraulic failure. The computer is screaming eject, but we're getting a Ghost 85 code.
The computer is lying.
Excuse me?
I can hear him from here, General. The afterburner is lit. If he had lost hydraulics, the nozzle would have failed open and he'd be tumbling. He's not tumbling. He's flying straight. The plane is fine. The sensor is vibrating. It thinks it's dead, so it's locking him out to save him.
Who is this? Who is on this channel?
Someone who knows your bird better than you do, son. Now listen to me. The computer has locked your stick because it thinks you have no pressure. We have to trick it.
Trick it? It's a flight control computer. You can't trick it.
It's a machine. It only knows what it feels. Right now it feels a vibration at 400 hertz. We need to change that frequency. We need to make the plane shake. Violently.
In the command center, the engineers looked at each other in horror. They knew what Shaw was suggesting. It went against every page of the safety manual. To save the plane, they had to break it.
Lieutenant, I need you to disconnect the flight augmentation system. Then, I need you to drop your landing gear.
Are you insane? I'm doing Mach 0.9. If I drop the gear, I'll rip the wings off.
You won't rip the wings off, but you will create enough drag to induce a buffet. That shaking, that's our Trojan horse. It'll knock that sensor back into place. Do it.
Kane looked at his commander on the video link. Vance was sweating. It was a career-ending order. But Vance looked at the telemetry. The plane was drifting toward the city lights of Las Vegas. He nodded.
Do it, Voodoo. Trust him.
Kane reached up. His hand was trembling. He flipped the augmentation switch to off. The red lights in the cockpit stopped blinking. They went solid. Silence. Then he reached for the landing gear lever.
Gear down. God help us.
The F-35 hit a wall of air. The speed dropped from 600 knots to 300 in seconds. The pilot was thrown forward against his harness. The entire airframe groaned. Rivets popped. Inside the cockpit, it felt like being inside a washing machine full of bricks.
Vibration is severe. I'm losing altitude. 15,000 feet. 14,000.
Hold it. Let it shake. She's stubborn.
The gear doors are tearing. I can hear them.
Not yet.
The vibration was so intense that the radar screen in the command center blurred. Kane fought the stick with both hands. The G-force was crushing him. He was falling out of the sky. And then, click.
Hydraulics restored. Systems nominal. Flight controls active.
The red light vanished. A beautiful, solid green light appeared on the dash. The stick came alive in Kane's hands. It was light again. Responsive.
I have control. Pressures are rising. System A is green. System B is green. How did you know?
I didn't know. I remembered. Now clean up that gear, son. You've got a lot of drag and not much fuel. Bring her home.
In the command center, there was no cheering, just the sound of breath being released. They had witnessed a resurrection, but the danger wasn't over. Kane had his controls back, but he had stressed the airframe to its limit, and he still had to land. The desert floor rushed up to meet them. Kane had his hydraulics back, but the F-35 was wounded. The landing gear doors were shredded. The nose strut was bent from the violent deployment at Mach 0.9. He was coming in hot.
Tower, Voodoo 1 on final. 3 miles out. Speed 180 knots. I have a gear unsafe light on the nose wheel.
Copy, Voodoo. Fire trucks are rolling. The net is up. Good luck.
In the hangar, Shaw wiped a smudge of grease from his cheek. He picked up the radio one last time. His voice was softer now, not a command, but a reassurance.
Don't fight the nose, son. She's gonna want to pull left. Let her. Keep the nose wheel off the deck as long as you can. Aero brake until you feel the rudder lose authority. Then, pray.
Copy that, Chief. See you on the ground.
The main wheels hit the tarmac with a scream of burning rubber. Smoke billowed from the brakes. Kane held the nose up. The fighter jet looked like a majestic bird refusing to land. 120 knots. 100 knots. Gravity won. The nose slammed down. Crunch. The damaged strut collapsed. The F-35 skidded on its belly, a shower of titanium sparks lighting up the night like fireworks. It slid for 2,000 feet. And then, silence.
Tower, Voodoo 1, stopped. I'm alive.
The fire trucks swarmed the jet, foam spraying over the smoking wreckage. General Vance was already in a jeep, speeding toward Hangar 42. He had the Medal of Commendation ready in his mind. He was going to reinstate Shaw. He was going to give him a pension, a parade, an apology. The jeep skidded to a halt outside the rusted hangar. Vance kicked the door open.
Shaw, Smokey, you did it, you old son of a...
The hangar was empty. The radio was sitting on the workbench, turned off. The 1968 Mustang was gone. The only thing left was a single greasy rag on the bench, and a note scrawled on the back of a technical manual. Vance picked up the note. It didn't ask for a medal. It didn't ask for money. It was a list of part numbers.
Replace the hydraulic mix plate on the entire fleet. Part number 85T400. And tell your engineers to stop trusting the math. Trust the vibration.
Vance walked out into the desert night. He looked at the tire tracks fading into the distance. He realized then that Shaw hadn't come back to be a hero. He had come back to finish a job he started 40 years ago. The alarm had sounded. The fixer had answered. And now, the silence returned.